This is your weekend market recap for Friday, July 22nd, 2022. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at EXPI Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your weekend market recap for Friday, July 22nd, 2022. Hopefully you had a great week. Let's get into it. I always like to start off by saying if you are newer to the channel or you are just seeing this content for the first time and you want to join the Discord room, link is in the description below. We're talking all day, chatting all day about trades. Again, depending on what is going on, we are always trying to stay on top of the market. Remember, we are always trying to do what? Anticipate moves, not react, because a lot of people today reacted to moves and got absolutely burned. We recommend taking most of, not all of your long upside trades off near term because the risk is not worth the reward. We are expecting some moves next week. We will talk about that here shortly. Again, if you have any questions, please stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. I really try to tailor this channel to people who are not newer to trading, but have experience, but just can't seem to wrap their head around the concepts that help them constantly win and the discipline that it takes. Again, we treat this like a business. This isn't a gambling game, because if you gamble, the statistics say you will lose. I mean, 90% of traders lose whole completely. So on that, let's get into Bitcoin. Talked about this. What do you got here? Needed to see some continuation. Did not like to see the indecision candles. Still, if you were long this, bought this, holding this, just don't let this turn into a loss. It needs to continue higher. I don't like seeing it take a break because I want to see actual continuation, strong move, right? On that note, at this point, what do you think, Dan? I mean, personally, I think it's probably going to be dependent upon what the Feds say next week. Does the market does Bitcoin catch a bid based on what? Whatever the Fed say. That's the question. They have the Fed FOMC meeting. We'll see. I don't really think it matters. I honestly think Bitcoin, probably like gold, probably like some of the metals, miners, a lot of stuff, it's probably going to be stuck for a little while. Oil, again, we talked about shorting it. Short. Every major pop, okay? Well, now it's pulling back. Now what? I mean, I'm kind of at this point right now where I've told people many times, please be safe. Short it if you can get the highs. Again, demand destruction, 70, 65 range is my ultimately guess. But near term, they could be sloppy choppy. It seems to be holding around this 94 area. Just, again, people... Think about who is long oil. It's people who read the headlines. And as I always call the news, like the noose, because again, it's what gives retail the power to kill themselves, is they, listen to the news. They tie the noose, they hang it around their neck, and they get destroyed. Anyway, at this point, I would just target the mindset of don't believe everything you read. Again, demand destruction is real. We're going into a recession, folks. That's not going to be bullish oil near term. Anyway, long story short, be safe, have stops. If you got in, say, like that was it SCO, some of these oil shorts, just be aware that there is some pops. If you got in near the highs, you're probably going to have to ride some chop next week, because we're going to talk about the markets and what I expect the next week very, very shortly. Bonds. Okay, so here we go. People say, well, what are you still holding, Dan? What do you got? I got bonds. Now people say, is this a novice gap and a doji? Potentially. Absolutely. We don't know until what? You get more information. I personally think what? Probably going to chop a little bit and then go higher, because I think what you're going to see with the GDP data next week that comes out on, was it Wednesday? No, GDP data is Thursday after the Feds. I think what you're going to see is just a little bit of consolidation. I've told people this a billion times. Like, if you watch the channel and you pay attention, when you can play trends off of the monthly and spots, it's the most powerful. What do I expect? I mean, worst case scenario, this long wick, it's going to use, say, 2008 as the barometer. Look, June, July 2007 into 2008. Same thing. You had a nice little bottom here in 2008. do the math. 89, 97, 10%, 10, 15%, 10% takes you up to 120s. I think that's the worst case scenario. I do think inflation will gear up later as we get closer to the winter. But at this point, I think this is the only safe thing I can hold is bonds. Anything overnight. Dollar, I think, is ultimately going higher. We've talked about this half a bazillion times. But we also said, watch, it probably gets into the 29 area and takes a break. Naturally, the market likes that. That's what it is. At the 20-day, again, how low? I've said this becomes the first major support, obviously, at 28. Do we get down there? You never know. A lot of things going on. The VIX, people are like, oh, I want to buy the UVXY. No, please don't. What did the UVXY close at today? I imagine it was probably negative. Just got a gut instinct on that one. And what's the thing about, what am I been saying about the VIX, right? Let me just pull up the UVXY. Yeah, down. What a total waste. If you bought this today, you lost money, even though the market was down. Continue to say this. Lay off the UVXY. And if you come into the chat room and you ask me about it, I'm going to tell you the same thing I say in here. Lay off of it. I still think we're going to get the channel bound or the trend line or the 20s at some point. At some point. Why? Because that's what's happened before every major pop. Right? Like this was the market ended up going lower there. Well, if the market isn't a bear market rally, I think you get down to the low end of the range on the VIX. It's really that simple. You got the Feds next week. They're going to try to soften the blow in the market and try to rationalize, obviously, a 75-point rate hike, which, whatever, that's fine. Again, the market's going to do what it's going to do. But I keep warning people, there's some really major problems starting to brew in China that are new. And when I say new, like literally, they are running into situations where they're having run on the banks. It reminds me of August 2015. You're also getting what? People aren't paying their mortgages there. Since they're pissed off, since they can't withdraw money, they stop paying their bills, stop paying the mortgages. So now the Chinese government has to get involved, and they're putting tanks in front of the banks so people don't riot in front of them. That is ominous to me. Now, again, what do we always say about things like this? They don't play out the first day. Think about the Livermore example when there was the earthquake in San Francisco in the early 1900s, and the market ignored the damage for a couple days, and then the market eventually caught on to it. Now, again, this China stuff, is it temporary? We don't know. That's the key, right? If it is actually going to be bad, that to me might be the next leg down. That would push the TLT higher, in my opinion. That would smash oil near term. It'd be what I might consider the first drop in this bear market to capitulate, to maybe rally later in the year, potentially. It all just really depends on all this lines out, because there's a seasonality of the market. And again, if you stick around and you subscribe, you're going to be on top of this stuff. It's not like this stuff is so much of a repeating pattern. I've got that figured out. So again, VIX 18, 20, potentially. All right. I drew that back test of this channel yesterday and said I'd watch it. Well, look at that. Got lucky and it ended up dropping. That's just, I don't know how to explain it other than it was luck, right? People say, oh, the options action, like whatever. Again, I've seen the skew on the option change constantly. I don't necessarily trust it. And plus, I'm getting free data from a broker. The broker's trying to take my money. I don't believe that anything they give me is really sound. Hopefully you start realizing that as well. So bottom line, now what? Here's the game plan for next week. Pull out the Stock Traders Almanac. What do we got? We got a bearish day Wednesday. My thinking is what? If we're down Monday or Tuesday, we rally. Probably drop maybe on what? The Feds could go up. Now, again, we don't really know. I'm not really too concerned. If you start paying attention, the real action happens on Thursdays. It's traps, which is interesting because it used to be Wednesday. From 20 years ago, it was always the Wednesday. But now people have kind of gamed that, and they start playing this game with the market where it actually does something wrong. Not wrong. The opposite of what it really should do, and that happens Thursday and Friday, which is rather interesting. So if I had to think about it, you have Amazon and Apple earnings on Thursday, right? The market's holding up. I anticipate whatever weakness that the market does have between now and then will be bought up. Will absolutely be bought up. Now, when I think bought up, what does that mean? We don't know. We honestly don't know exactly what that means. Okay, when I say bought up, how much, where, what part? We've said could always get this channel high up into this level, maybe up even 200 day. We really don't know, because what happens in a bear market rally, right, is you get these big rips. Could this day, like right here, be exactly what just happened today? You get over the 20 or the 50 day and you just pull back one day, and then you continue. This is the one thing I am looking for. Please take note of this. Stop, get a pen and paper, and I'm going to show you something that's really pretty exciting to experience if you're not familiar. Novice gaps. What have we noticed about the SPY? Every time it tops, it novice gaps. Little baby one there. Again, that's fine, whatever. Novice gap, double novice gap, and then fail. Novice gap and fail. Novice gap, chop and fail. Where's our novice gap? We don't got it yet, right? Maybe it happens next Friday after Apple and Amazon earning. Maybe they somehow destroy, do great. Maybe it's the day after the Feds that the market gaps up. I want you to take notes. And again, because if you ask me this stuff and you're not familiar, whoa, that was a mess. If you're not familiar with what's going on, I just worry that you're going to miss this. And when I say you're going to miss this, it's like the patterns are repeating. There's nothing new. Be smart. Just be smart. Know what's going on. I hope people start to see that there's just reoccurring patterns everywhere in the market, and that if you can identify them, you put the probabilities in your favor. Just like we said, the bottom here was this whoosh action, multiple gaps. No different than this. I mean, again, it might look different, but think about the size and quickness. And then you had the double tap, and then you had a multi-tap, and then bounce. But point being, what? It led to a bear market rally. So I just want people to realize that, because again, think about next week. Think about all that's going on. Hopefully you took your notes. There's Apple and Amazon earnings Thursday after the close. You got the FOMC on Wednesday. You might have like a turnaround Tuesday, kind of Monday, Tuesday rally off of the lows, because again, 3,900 on the SPY. Maybe today is literally just this, and then it goes. Again, look at the charts. I always warn people, like, stop staring at the present. Zoom out. Stop watching your 5 and 1 minute charts, because you have no clue what the hell is going on, because you don't know the bigger picture. And then you act surprised when you lose money or something doesn't work out. And it's like, well, you could have seen that coming. So anyway, it just really is what it is. Let's roll into the QQQ. Similar patterns, novice gap tops. That was a baby gap. Here was the novice, like, open and close. Yep, novice fall professionals, novice gap chop. You see what's going on. QQQ. Anyway, what should you be thinking about going into next week? Keep in mind some tech earnings. I mean, I look at my calendar, the big stuff is until Thursday. Still think you can get to this 315 area easily. Keep in mind the 100-day acted as resistance last time. Again, repeating patterns. If you were zoomed in all freaking day and you want me to come to your house and smack you, no, I'm just kidding. Like, just be safe. IWM, what did we say? What did we say? It leads. Well, what happened today? It didn't lead. Could it be novice gap time? Like engulfing bar, 100-day? I mean, we're not that far, folks. So put in your book. What? Let me write this down again. I always do this. IWM, what? 180, 187. Oh my God, that'd be hilarious. It ends up being 187. Just keep an eye on it. Again, I mean, we're playing probabilities. If you're trying to get me to tell you exactly what you should do always, and you're gonna be always right, you got problems. Like, that's, again, I'm not always right. We're playing probabilities, We're just always playing probabilities, folks. Like, that's just all it is, man. It's just that simple. The GLD. People get really excited about this bottoming. And what did I say? You always get a retest. Always get a retest. Always get a retest. Hit pause, and don't forget that. Now, is that your retest today and fail? You can't even see the doji. It's so small. It's in there. I promise there's a doji. Jesus, that thing is tight. There it is. So now what? Well, keep in mind the Feds are meeting next week. We have no clue what the heck gold's going to do. I personally, I'm laying off this stuff because, again, I don't see the upside in a bear market. Even if a bear, look what happened in a bear market rally, it didn't go anywhere. It didn't provide any sort of usefulness. Again, it might have less downside because it's not going to get slaughtered, say like Snapchat and all these other companies. But what do you learn here? What are you learning about gold if you haven't traded before? It likes to retest. Well, what have I said? In a bear market, what? The first major whoosh, October, then it went higher. I think we're in that similar situation where it's probably going to be in the fall. So all down moves, in my opinion, are not to be bought yet until what? When the Feds admit that the world's, like, they really freaked up. Like, they messed up. They're not at that point yet. They're literally raising rates still. Remember the they know nothing rant in October of 2008 by Kramer? They know nothing. They're raising rates. Ah! Well, that's when gold bottomed. So at this point, it could be this, right? Here's another double bottom. This is my guess at this point, is just to wait. The problem with it is, at least you had volume, like, kind of capitulating down. Like, there's just no interest. This is a struggle for me because either the market makers have just done a huge time correction on the monthly of the handle, and so people just giving up, or they got one more limb to shake. So we'll see what it ends up being, folks. Again, what is the plan? If you bought it, your stop is what? The lows. If you get stopped out, you can always rebuy. If it goes lower, just let it go. Silver, same kind of thing. We talked about it. It's probably bottomed. Again, this is what's so hard, is I think it has. I just don't like the action. I want to see something to, like, really get me excited, because even down here, you had this novice gap and then professional gap. Here's your novice gap, and you're filling it. It should hold. That's where it's a struggle here. But this is the problem with the miners, and people don't realize, like, if the market's going lower, miners don't go up. They're not independent of what? The market. No, they're part of the market. All tides. Again, it's like arguing with uranium, CCJ, and whatever. All these folks who just don't. Oh, they just don't get it. Anyway, long story short, I would argue at this point right here, you don't know anything for sure, but you know where your stop is. We've talked about this a million times. Like, you know, use the lows as stops. See, I hate this action. Look at that. Tested the 20-day and backed right off. When is the best time to buy miners? In case you're newer, it's always, it's always in the whoosh of a bear market. Or it's some sort of, like, event like COVID, right? Where look at this action. Pow. Here you go. 2008. Bottomed in October. Look at that. 16 up to, where was March? Here's March. And here's March of 2008. Look at that. Or 2009. I mean, it went from 37 to 15. Do you see what I'm saying here? Like, we need to see it. We just absolutely need to see it bottom. And when I see it, I mean, like, that's, if you want the V, then you need the blowout. Look at these candles. This is nothing. These are real candles. Like, look at that. 30, what, in a month, 35 down to 15. Maybe it's, again, I've said 40 down to 20s. Maybe you come back down to the major support at 16. I mean, again, if you see it at 16, call me. Call your mom. Call your grandma. Buy it. At this point, AG. I mean, I think it's getting down to 4. I've said this, you know, 4s, 5s, maybe. I don't know. This is the hardest part about trading metals, and this is why we have these conversations in the Discord room, is by you trading metals and not making money, potentially, or getting stuck and being in what I call purgatory, there was other opportunities, and you missed them. So, again, how you want to trade it, what do you want to do? It's really hard, man. I don't know. When I say that, like, and I mean that sigh with real desire to want to help. I don't know. How here is some volume, though. We are getting on AEM. We'll see. They've got earnings next week. What day is that? Wednesday after the close. It's hard to trust any of these names. NFGC, look at that. Pops up, pulls back 4 or 5%. You got volume. It's just the market. The market's not your friend here, because if the market is in a bear market, miners aren't going to rally until when? Again, the Feds capitulate. Are they going to capitulate in July? I don't think so, because what I think you're going to see is actually the job layoffs accelerate in the July and August time period, then maybe the September, October jobs numbers actually make them realize, like, holy crap, people are getting fired left and right. We have to stop. We are not there yet. Okay? We are not there yet. I reiterate, we are not at the point where the Feds are reversing course. Please, the market doesn't, the market can go down, as you noticed in 2008, before the Feds change course, right? We're just not there yet. Material names, talked about them. I mean, I liked them, but told you probably need to start taking profits. Thought maybe you get up here, but if you actually look, it got up into the 20s. We said 20s when it was down here, which I thought was a good trade. Well, you got up to 2072. I'm not trading it. So again, unless you have a question, come to me. I still think these trades ultimately have limited upside. All right, Nucor. I warned people yesterday. It's on the video. I warned people a dozen times. Please zoom out. What do you notice? What do you notice about this level in the 126s? Resistance, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance, fail point. It hits it again. What happens? It backs off 7 points. Now, shit, 9 points almost. Now what? You're out of the trade. That's what that says to me, because it's an engulfing bar novice gap potentially on their great earnings, which we expected. Talked about it. They guided up. You cannot stick around when you see engulfing bars like that. Like that's, and with decent volume. Now again, could it bounce next week? Could it get back up to 125? Anything's possible. But if you traded this, you got to be out. VALE, somebody wanted to buy this. It's like, man, just let it sit here. Let it marinate. Let it soak. I mean, I think, again, you're stuck in trades that just aren't that lucrative. They just don't move. They don't do anything. I hate these trades. And I don't hate that people enter them and talk about doing them. I just hate the idea of knowing that they're probably going to, they're going to make some money, but the upside is not to make huge money. Like, that's what I mean. Like, if you do a trade, what I love is a trade that when I'm dead wrong on the upside, it goes way higher. Like, I don't see VALE going higher in the near term. Now, again, one day doesn't make a trend. Same thing with CCJ. All these people like, you're going to miss the big move. Well, what did we say yesterday or the day before? Like, watch the 200-day, watch all this area. Now, again, I thought maybe you could get up to the trend line, but again, I'm not trading it, so I don't watch it intraday, so I have no clue how to guide you on the intraday action because I'm not, again, I'm one person with one set of eyes watching a few trades. That doesn't look good to me. It just doesn't. Now, again, I think you'll get a bounce, but it's probably going to be a lower high, and then what? You better be gone. Arrow. Be gone! Like, literally, be gone! Now what? 20-day arrow. Again, I like this stuff, but it just doesn't, it's not acting well, folks. I don't know. Again, I feel bad because I don't know what the right answer is. The probabilities just aren't in your favor, if you can just acknowledge that. Mosaic, we said this should be absolutely rioting higher. Agriculture stuff. Well, what happened is that Russia ag stuff was going to get bypass tariffs, and then what? Chop, 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 chop. CF, we said we like this. It looks good. It looks good. But I don't know. Again, you got the volume, you got the price action. I just think the whole sector, unless they get bought out, because we can't predict that, you know, nothing. At this point, I would say just wait. AMD, talked about it getting into the 90s. Said it could get over the trend line, but just be careful. I'd love to see it hit the 100-day. Maybe it hits it next week. Maybe it doesn't. This is what's so hard. If you have fat gains, 70 up to 90, 70, whatever, 20% plus in a bear market, you got to be looking to take profits. If you're not taking profits, the market's going to take them. It's a bear market. Again, this is why I keep saying people are like, oh, I'm just going to put a stop in. Well, it's guaranteed to get hit. It's just whether it's today, tomorrow, next week. It's really... Let's talk about the semiconductors. The SMH, we said, buy the rumor, sell the news. Did you listen? Did you pay attention to the fact that the bill is going to pass? I don't like this volume. Look at that, selling. Distributed. We said one of these candles was coming. Can you still get up here? Absolutely. Again, I think anything's possible at this point, but what have I said? The easy money, the easy trade, the guaranteed easy probabilities of making money are over on this trade. If it goes higher, it was luck. If it goes lower, it's bad luck. I mean, literally, that's all you can really call it at this point, which I know a lot of people are going to be like, that's not really a strategy or a trade. No, literally, that's all it is. I don't know what to tell you, man. It's just, it is what it is. I don't know. If it goes higher and the stocks will goes higher, great. If it doesn't, you could get burned. I'm gonna keep throwing on IBM because you know what? I'm pretty much going to talk about what you see these arrows. I said this could be like a repeating form. Again, IBM. This is the thing about IBM. If you overlay like November of 2022 in the stock market, this thing's actually acting well. People I know kept it, held it. I got stopped out. I just moved on again. It's not that this trade isn't going to work. It's just, right, what do? I'm always looking for the best trades. Sometimes things happen. Well, you got back down in the 125s today, right? Didn't you? Yeah, and then it bounced, and it closed at the high of the day. That is telling you something, right? I mean, I don't see any stocks closing at the high of the day in my portfolio of names that I watch. Look at all these red, bloody red, and this is the only greener. And again, it closed at the high of the day. Literally, all the other ones, no. No. Red flag, meaning keep an eye on it. Now, again, is it just oversold bounce? Or is it the start of the check mark? I mean, again, if you're trading it, manage it. I mean, I don't know how to tell you anything with certainty. We don't do that. Meta. This is why we take gains. We said, watch out for Snap's earnings. They're probably going to be what? Who knows? And that's the thing. Who knows? Could be bad, could be good. Well, then you find out the CEO is spending hundreds of millions of dollars on stuff and wasting money, and then they turn the quarter into a big L. Oops. Now Meta gets hit by it. Now, put this on this radar for a bounce, actually. I took a little trade on it for like $1 today, and bought it and got rolled out, made $1. I didn't even really post it. I just talked about I liked it at 172. If you look at the open, here, I'll show you real quick. Here, no, that's after hours. Here's the open. Yeah, 172 area. And then it bounced. I didn't get that much. I bought it right here on the retest and got stopped out. It is what it is. Now what? Watch the 20-day. I think it has the potential to bounce. But keep in mind, this China crap, anything could happen. Anything is possible. Please do not have this mindset that it has to go to the channel high. What did we say at worst? Probably like the 50-day back, a portion of the channel up. I still think it could get up there if their earnings. Their earnings are on what day? I don't know why I can't see it. Hold on. Meta, Wednesday after the close. So Fed day, awesome. Awesome. The market rises with the Fed, this will rise. That's it. Apple, we talked about what? Yesterday, like you had this hammer, not really that excited. Could have been a novice gap. We talked about novice gaps. We talked about them a lot. Chilling, holding over the 100-day. It's not actually that bearish at this moment. But again, like, does it get sold before earnings? Probably a little bit. That's the nature of like, when stocks run up into earnings, they pull back a little bit. And if they're down into earnings, sometimes they rally. Because again, there's position squaring, right? Like if the shorts have been winning, they're going to cover some. If the bulls have been winning, they're going to take some profit. At this point, I would watch the 150s. I mean, this area in the blue is like the line in the sand. Break below it could get real ugly real quick. Roblox. Talked about taking our profits yesterday. I said, you know what? I really am struggling with what? The market, first of all, and then what? It could not get over the 42 area. Well, what did it do today? It opened up at the highs and just boom. Not good. More consolidation needed. Check back later because it could be this kind of crap. Maybe next week. Again, if I miss it, it's all right. Tesla took a trade and a short on this, played this different with TSLQ and all sorts of stuff. What did we say? I said, watch the 4,840 level. Look, it got into this gap and it rejected. What is Tesla known for? Is that people buy it like idiots. It gaps up and then it fails. Gaps up and eventually fails. Now, tons of gaps ups and fails. Again, I don't mean to call people who own the stock long-term idiots, but you are an idiot because you don't realize the power of destruction in a bear market, because this stock could get absolutely smoked. Think about it. It's barely actually rallied if you consider the bear market rally. It hasn't really done that much. I'm telling you something here. I don't know. Now, how much higher could it go? I said it could maybe get to 900. I took some scalps on it today. I still own Tesla Q. I bought it under 41 or under 42. I'm holding some just in case. Because if I am right, and this is a repeating pattern of April carnage, of earnings carnage, yeah, we'll see. Because again, who buys all these calls and the stock going into earnings? Retail. And luckily, the market maker can sell it all to folks who buy it. That's what they do. EXPI holding up okay. Again, I think this stock is trash. I think it go higher because of the fundamental. The fundamentals are good. No, I mean, we're doing well, but the market's not friendly. UTHR, it's the same story every day. Watch the previous recaps. It's in order. If you didn't sell up here, you are gambling hard because you have made great money and you are just pressing your bet. Now, if it gets to the 20-day, you better look for the exits. Now, again, could it get up to the monthly trend line? Obviously. But if you don't ever take money, the market's going to take it. That's really all I can say on that. Let's end it on oil because a lot of people, I'll throw in nat gas as well because a lot of people are looking at it. We talked about up at the 20-day, nice little back off. Gap down today, decent volume, but tight action and did not take out really, we closed at the lows, but we're still at, look at this inflection point here. You can see it all the way back. It's 0.832. It's hard to say, bullish or bearish. Again, you'll need more information. I will look for rallies. I would love to see this rally back up into the 78, 77 range. XOP, what did we say? People bought drip. I dig it. I absolutely dig it. Hit the trend line, backed off, gapped up, closed the lows. But tonight, probably going to be choppy. That's what we said. Until the market breaks, this is going to be choppy. So if you got into the drip up in the 20s, I think it was the low. Cool. ExxonMobil said this is going to be a choppy, sloppy mess. Again, I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know. I think in time it goes lower, but it doesn't mean it can't play this sloppy, choppy game. Let's throw in UNG because some folks are looking at it, and I know they got money on the table with cold. Where is UNG? I have it snuck in here somewhere. Why can't I see? I've been staring at charts all day. It's somewhere in here. There it is. I was at the top. Keep in mind, there's a lot of crap going on with nat gas, more than actually oil. Heat, it being cold out, all this stuff. This is not ideal to short. Once you get over the 618, this is where it gets a little tricky. This is what I tell people. Like, once this, Trader Florida taught me this. He's like, anytime a 0.618 retrace goes above it, you might be going back to the old highs. That's my advice here. Those for shorting it, I don't know. I will say, what do we know? Oil is lagging natural gas. But again, keep in mind, it kind of leads. It was leading down and now leading up. And when this peaks, maybe oil peaks. All right, I hope this stuff helps. Again, if you ever have any questions about real estate, please check out my website, danmaxrealty.com. If you had a great week and you want to share this with your friends, family, people who need help, like that's what this is about, helping others learn. Because then again, in a game where pros win and Joes lose, that's always how it is. Think of this as a poker. If you're a novice poker player, you always lose. And your education can be really expensive because you play against the pros by playing the market, literally, or you practice online. You play free poker. You learn. You study the past. You really develop a plan. If you need help with that, again, stop by the Discord room. Tons of links and descriptions, links in the room, descriptions of what's going on, how to learn things, novice gaps, professional gaps, whatever. Anything you want to talk about, it's in there. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you soon. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.